Hi, my name is Carolina. This is an advanced Thunderbolt Power Yoga flow, which features core used heavily to articulate your spine and work through challenging poses like peacock. Get started on your hands and your knees. Open up your fingers wide, spread them as wide as you can, and then click one more little bit wider. Just feel the connection between your fingers and the ground, your palms and the ground, hasta bandha. That's the energy lock between your hand and the ground. And therein lies your knowledge. Inside of you lies knowledge. Let's see if you can draw some of that energy from the ground through your hands into your body. Breathe in, engage your core. Breathe out, there's still engagement there. Good. And pull everything into your core. Keep your breath flowing through your center. And breathe out, Uddiyana Bandha. Pull your navel in, up, and back. Within that special knowledge in your center, you can take uncomfortable circumstances from life and burn them up. Take your hands into fists. You can look up at me. This is how I want them. I want your thumbs wrapped around the front of your hands instead of tucked in. And then, yes, imagine your hands like little jelly rolls. Point your jelly roll towards the front. Come up onto your knuckles, all right? If you have big fingernails, this is one reason why you want to have not big fingernails in yoga, right? Because you want to be able to make a nice compressed fist. Energy flows more freely through a compressed fist, through tight, hard surfaces. Breathe in to the connection between your index finger. Imagine the center now of your hand having the fire of your belly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rock back, bend your elbows back, down onto the earth. Come back onto your fists. If you need more, you can do this from plank pose, up. Inhale, exhale, back onto your forearms. Press the space between your forearm and wrist into the ground. Yes. Come back up onto your fists. Breathe in. Keep that compression through the center of your palm. Exhale, keep the compression through your core, the cylindrical core of your midline. Come on up, plank pose on your fists. If you can't do both at once, just do one and put your other palm down like normal. Breathe in and breathe out. Keep your breath flowing. Rock a little more weight forward into your index finger knuckles. Good. Drop on down to your knees. Spin the palms of your hands back down. Turn your thumbs out in opposite directions from one another. Get a stretch in the back of your forearms. If you need more, step it into plank pose. As you move into more, just like in life, as you move into more difficulty, hold it in your core. Hold your weight through your midline. Breathe in, Uddiyana Bandha, engage. Breathe out. Good. Drop down to your knees. If you're in plank, spin the back of your hands onto the ground. Stretch the back of your wrists. You can go so far as to spin and flare out all of the way with your wrists pointing in towards each other and your fingers pointing away from each other. Maintain enough mobility in the skin on your arms to wiggle your fingers. If that means you need to walk your knees up closer to your hands, that's how you scale back. You can also bend your elbows to modify. Keep breathing. Good job. Very nice. Burn out and inward at the same time. Burn out anything that blocks your path. Illuminate your path inside. Downward facing dog with regular hands. Roll forward, articulate your spine one vertebra at a time into plank pose. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Breathe out. Plank pose, roll forward. Really cat your upper back. Press into it. Inhale, that's scapular elevation, right? Now exhale, do a little upper back only push-up. Pull your shoulder blades together. Yep, then press back up. Find the retraction and the protraction of your shoulder blades. Find the engagement to pull your shoulder blades together. Find the engagement to pull your shoulder blades apart. Breathe in, fire up your core to keep your hips on the same plane as your shoulders. Look forward. Good. And keep that action going. 1 or 2 more. Push up and down. Just in your upper back. Breathe in. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Liquid spine. Roll forward. Breathe in. Drop on down to your knees. Pull your hands into your heart. We'll take 1 cleansing breath. Open up, sigh out. 1 round of Om, inhale. Beautiful. Crawl yourself forward, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Keep the flow of your breath steady through the engagement of your core. Build a slow fire. Build from a simmer into a little bubble, into a rolling boil throughout your class. Keep your gaze turned inward to your navel, the center of your body, the center of change. This is where transformation happens. Gaze forward, breathe in. Make your way up lightly, step it forward, fold. Bend your knees, curl in. Roll up 1 vertebra at a time, nice and slow. Lift your arms up overhead, breathe in. Exhale, pull your hands into your heart. I want you to push your hips forward, all right? Use your thumbs behind you, push your hips forward. Use your fingers, push your hips back. And then notice how you can't do it without also starting to roll your shoulders and your chest, right? So start to get that roll of your spine forward. You have to let your head go with in order for it to actually begin to work, all right? You can get your arms going with it. You can get your arms overhead with it. It almost becomes like a big back bend and then a forward fold, and then a back bend and then a forward fold. If you really let your spine articulate, see if you can feel the movement. Initiate from your core. Initiate with your abdomen. Push back with your hips. Push forward. Breathe in and out. As you open up into a back bend, inhale. As you exhale, curl in like a cat. It's like a standing cat and cow using your whole body. Beautiful. Urdhva Hastasana. Lift up through both arms. Breathe in. Exhale. Fold forward. Uttanasana. Bow down. Lift halfway. Inhale. Lengthen your spine. Plant your hands. Plank pose. Step back. Breathe in. Plank pose. Stack up directly over your index finger. Find that nice cat in your upper back. Inhale. Look forward. Lower down, use your core strength. Go slow. Put your forehead down on the ground. Spin the top of your shoulders away from the ground. Find that cow in your upper back. Inhale, cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower down. Press back, downward facing dog. Lead with the pit of your belly. Let your body receive this pose through the initiation of your core. Gaze into your core. Breathe in. Breathe out. Roll forward, plank. Now, just like you did, open up your heart, look forward, inhale, lead with your hips, downward facing. Do it as a flow. Make sure you get that heart opening piece at the end of your plank. Roll forward, inhale, open up your heart, downward facing, lead with your booty. Yeah, let your hips tilt like cow. Forward, plank, inhale, cow on your way back to down dog. Gaze to the top of your mat. Rise high on your toes. Pull Mula Bandha up into your core. Hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Flat back. Breathe in. Empty out. Fold forward. Rise to stand. Inhale. Exhale, put your hands on your hips. This time, you're going to make circles. They'll start at your hips. You can go to the either direction first. And then you'll let your shoulders get into it. And then you can, again, take your arms through range of motion up overhead or in any direction that helps you to feel a stretch. Linger where you begin to feel your outer hips. Begin to get a little stretchy motion through the traction of your arms, nice and long. Switch directions if you haven't already. Good breathing. Urdhva Hastasana, inhale. Uttanasana, exhale. Flat back, breathe in. Hop back, chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing. And see if you can cha-cha your hips in your downward facing dog. Put some bend in your knees, tilt your hips, be sensual with it. Use the engagement of your core to make your hips feel light and breezy. And if this feels unlike something you're used to, guess what? Life throws that kind of stuff at you all the time. Burn through it. Breathe in. Good. Downward facing dog. Rise high on your toes. Look forward. Hop to the top of your mat. Fold. Flat back inhale. Fold forward. Breathe out. Chair pose. Utkatasana. Step your feet wide. Put your hands on your knees. Exhale so deeply that your belly goes concave up into your ribs and past the lip of your pants. Then wiggle your hips and find Uddiyana Kriya. Find the wave of your abdominal muscles to the left and to the right. Push them out, pull them back in, ring out from the center. Draw in more energy into your core. Burn things out through the fire of Agni. That's that fire of purification in your belly. Good breathing. Use that Ujjayi breath, your Jalandhara Bandha. Push energy down, push rubbish down into the fire of Agni. Chair pose. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, plant your hands down to the ground. Halfway lift, inhale. Bend your knees, stick your booty back, use that sensuality. Plant your hands to the ground, hop back, chaturanga, stay firm through your abdomen. Upward facing dog, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Right side, warrior one, step forward. Take a moment to set your footing. Does a tree draw nutrients just through its trunk? No. It draws energy through its roots. Root down, draw energy from the ground. Give life to your core. That's the center of change in your body. Flip your palms towards the wall behind you, push back. You'll naturally hit a point where you bounce back to, push back as much as you can. Keep this whole, like I'm doing, pulse it, so that you find the integration in your shoulders and core. Relax the top of your shoulders down. Doesn't matter how up and down your arms are, just get them straight. Use your triceps, find that pulse in for another breath or two. Use your pumping breath. Good. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Look forward. Step your left foot in between your hands. Warrior one, rise up. Establish foundation. Set your roots. Breathe into the energy of change. Create fire. Create alchemy, magic. Inhale. Flip your palms backwards. Breathe in, pump out, pulse. Good. Keep it pulsing. Keep your breath pulsing with it. Initiate more fire in your belly. Knit your front ribs into one another. Breathe in. Look up. Breathe out. Chaturanga Dandasana. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Rise high up on your tippy toes, gaze forward, hop to the top of your mat. Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Chair pose, sit low, breathe in. Step your feet wide, Uddiyana Kriya. It takes both Uddiyana Bandha to the most extreme of your degrees and the movement of your hips in order to wave your belly. You can go home and practice this in the mirror. Also, this is a good thing to practice in cat. Half chair, stretch your arms forward, stick your booty back, keep your feet nice and wide. Drop your abdomen in between your thighs, create hip flexion, create a marriage between your trunk, your core, the fire in your belly, and your low limbs. Inhale, crow, hold it for a breath or two. Pull in through your midline, inhale, then hop back, chaturanga. Upward facing, breathe in, downward facing, breathe out. Right side warrior one, step forward, rise up. Inhale. This time, take your hands down by your hips, face your palms forward. Press back with your palms. Again, there you will hit your limit and you will bounce back. Just focus on the press back. Pump your breath. Keep your two front ribs, your lowest ribs, knit into one another. Yes. Find the engagement through your midline, through your core. Good breathing. Lift your arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Frame your foot. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Fill up. Downward facing dog. Breathe out. Step your left foot forward. Virabhadrasana A. Rise to stand. Find your palms down on either side of your hips. Use your palms as a reference point. Yes. All right. How square are your hips? Good. Pull your right inner thigh in, make it part of your root system. Connect it into your core. Lift up through the crown of your head, lift your arms up, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Up dog, fill up. Downward facing, breathe out. Gaze forward, inhale. Breathe out, hop to the top of your mat, fold. Half lift, fold forward, breathe out. Regular old chair pose, inhale. Lift up onto your tippy toes, lift your heels off of the ground. Put more weight into your big toes. Release your fourth and pinky toe to grip the ground more. Good. Imagine that you have a string lifting your heels up. Fold forward, keep your heels lifted. Crow pose, stack your knees on your triceps. Gaze forward, stay compressed through your core. Hug the top of your thighs in more to your rib cage. Squeeze your inner thighs in more towards midline. Breathe in, hop back, chaturanga. Upward facing, fill. Downward facing, empty. Your right leg up and back. Bend your knee. Stack your hip open. Imagine your core as a cylinder. It is a cylinder. Think of it from the roof of your mouth through your throat. From your throat through the center down your belly button and out your anus. Right? Because that's what happens. That's what it is. To complete both sides, make a longer line therein. Breathe in. Cheetah pose, pull your knee into your nose. Rise high on your left toes, Mula Bandha. Warrior two, step through, spin open. Bisect your left heel with your right, bisect your left arch with your right heel. And pull your shoulder blades into one another, in towards that cylindrical core. Good. Lean your head back to stack up over the rest of your core. Stack the roof of your mouth over your belly button. Radiant triangle, tip back, straighten your right leg, breathe in, find grounding in your right big toe. Half bind your left hand behind you. Move forward into half bound triangle pose. Keep your right arm floating. Spin your right palm more up towards the ceiling. Good, yes. Look over your left shoulder. Imagine a right angle. Lift your left arm straight up in a right angle with your right arm, right? Like a big box shape overhead. Keep your left arm nice and long. Make circles with your left arm. Circles forward, circles backward. Feel what range of motion feels best to you to get into the best, most stacked position. Good. Cactus your left arm. Inhale. Take rainbow warrior towards the back of your mat. Towards the back. Yes. Bend your right knee, bump into your right knee, spin your toes out, flex your left toes back towards your face, and then stack your shoulders over your hips. Good. And draw your elbows, both of them, in line with your shoulders. Yes. Good. Breathe in, warrior two, breathe out. To the back, warrior two. Good. Stay in this orientation. You'll get it after a round. Radiant triangle, tip back, straighten your left leg. Inhale. Triangle, float both of your arms like you're holding a globe in between your arms. Hug your palms in towards one another. Cactus your arms, soften your right knee. Inhale. OMG to the back of your mat, bow down. Chair pose, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Half lift, inhale. Crow pose, plant your hands, stack it up. Breathe in, crow. Look forward. Chaturanga Dandasana, hop back. Breathe in, upward facing, empty out, downward facing. Listen, lift your right leg up and back, bend your knee, stack your hip. Inhale. Exhale, cheetah pose, pull in, use your core, burn it out. Step through, warrior two, rise to stand. Open up. Tip it back, radiant triangle, straighten your right leg. Half bind your left hand behind you. Half bound floating trikonasana, take it forward. Turn and gaze over your left shoulder. Float your left arm straight up in a 90-degree angle. Breathe in. Listen. Back to the front of your mat, rainbow warrior. Bump your left toes straight up to the ceiling. Lean your upper back back. Stay lifted in your booty. Inhale. Warrior two, exhale. Radiant, tip back, breathe in. Float both arms, double floating triangle pose. Cactus both arms, bend your right knee, breathe in. OMG curtsy to the front of your mat, breathe out. Chair pose, inhale. Fold, exhale. Flat back, in. Crow, land it. Shift forward, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, fill. Breathe out, downward facing. I can feel the heat rising. Good. Lift your left leg, bend your knee, hold it. Come back to the integrity of your core. Yes, knit your front ribs into one another. Breathe into Agni, fire. All that junk in your hips, let it melt into your belly, burn it up. Cheetah pose, knee to nose, crunch in. Rise high on your right foot, Mula Bandha action, warrior two. Step through. Be rooted. Breathe nutritious energy from the ground through your feet, through the cylinders of your legs into your core. Burn fire in your core. Have the discipline to stay. Inhale. Engage Uddiyana Bandha. Radiant, tip it back, breathe in. Half bind your right hand behind you. Half bound floating Trikonasana. Keep your left arm lifted up. Create a long line of energy that parallels Sushumna Nadi down the center of your body. That cylindrical core. And keep your left arm engaged into your body. Lift your right arm up at a 90-degree angle. Inhale. Rainbow warrior towards the back of your mat. Shift your footing. Breathe in. Lean your upper back back. Warrior two, exhale. Radiant triangle, breathe in. Lead with the crease of your right hip. Double floating triangle. Breathe in, cactus your arms, soften your left knee. Breathe out, OMG to the back of your mat. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Half lift, breathe in. Crow pose or chaturanga. At this point, you know to scale it, right? If you need to. Move through, take it back. Downward facing. With integrity through your core, lift your left leg up, bend your knee, stack your hip. Breathe in through the long line on your left side. Breathe out, cheetah pose, knee to nose. Warrior two, step through. Open up, warrior two. Tip back, radiant triangle. Half bind your right hand behind you. Float forward, trikonasana. Turn your gaze over your right arm. Lift your right arm up. Breathe in. Rainbow warrior up and over towards the front of the house. Good. Lean your upper back back. Fill. Warrior two towards the front of your mat. Sit deep. Radiant triangle, keep the engagement in your triceps. Full double floating triangle, take it forward. Keep your triceps, that's how they integrate into your ribs. Soften your back leg, cactus your arms, inhale. OMG to the top of your mat, exhale. Chair pose, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. A halfway lift, fill. Hop back through crow or chaturanga or handstand. Upward facing, fill. Breathe out, downward facing. What do you think? Let's add on to it. Lift your right leg up and back. Bend your knee, stack your hip, inhale. Touch your knee to your right tricep, chaturanga your elbows. Ekapada kundinyasana, albatross. Float it. All right, put your left foot back down. Straighten your right leg, lift it back up straight. In one core motion. Breathe in. Exhale, cut across to your left tricep. Take your twisted albatross. Good, same thing. Put your left foot back down with core strength. Float your right leg back up. Bend your knee. Stack your hip. Breathe in. Warrior two, step through. Find your inner thigh engagement. Radiant triangle, tip back. Straighten your right leg, take it forward, half bound trikonasana forward. Lift your left arm up, breathe in, breathe out. Rainbow warrior, face the back of your mat. Bump your right toes slightly in, bend into your right knee, good. Lift both elbows up in line with your shoulders. Warrior two, exhale. Radiant triangle, inhale. Double floating triangle towards the back of your mat. Slightly bend your back legs, cactus your arms, OMG to the back of your mat. Chair pose, breathe in. Fold forward, breathe out. Flat back, inhale. Step, hop, crow, handstand to the back. Your flow. You have your internal knowledge if you can burn through the junk. Burn through it, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Lift your right leg up and back. Bend your knee, stack your hip. Exhale, albatross to your right leg, or right arm. With core strength, lift it back up, inhale. Twisted albatross, exhale. You can just hold at your tricep, good. Inhale up and back, bend your knee, stack your hip. Exhale, cheetah, pull through, warrior two, step through, spin open. All right, we're gonna do it. Radiant, inhale back. Half bind trikonasana, take it forward, float it. Straighten your right leg, breathe in. Rainbow warrior to the front of the house, bend in to your right knee, flex your left foot. Warrior two to the front of the house. Radiant triangle, inhale backwards, straighten your left side. Double floating triangle pose. Hold the world between your arms. Hold the fire in your core. Breathe in. Soften your right knee. Cactus your arms. OMG to the front of the house. Bow down. Chair pose. Jive it up. Exhale. Fold forward. Soften. Flat back. Breathe in. Step, hop, crow, handstand. Float. Up dog. Fill. Down dog. Breathe out. Lift your left leg up and back. Bend your knee, stack open, fill up. Albatross to your left side. See if you can straighten your left leg, albatross. Lift back up with a straight leg, core strength. Inhale, exhale, pull in and across, twist your albatross. Get the IT band on your left leg to your chaturanga elbow on the right. Same jam, take it up and back, use your core, initiate. Bend your knee, stack your hip, breathe in. Cheetah pose, pull into core, step through, warrior two. Move with the fire in your belly, warrior two. Radiant triangle, tip back. Half bind, trikonasana. Use your arm bar behind you. Pull your front ribs in towards one another, integrity. The integrity to maintain. Float your right arm up, inhale. Rainbow warrior, face the back of your mat. Warrior two, breathe out. Radiant triangle, breathe in. Straighten your right leg. Push your hips back, lean forward, trikonasana. Lead with the crease of your hips. Keep your roots down through the big toe on your right foot. Inhale. Bend your elbows, bend your knee. Take it forward, OMG. Bow down. Chair pose, fill. Fold forward, empty. Half lift, breathe in. Hop back, however you move, right? Your own knowledge of your own self through the fire that illuminates the path inward. Lift your left leg up and back. Inhale, bend your knees, stack your hip. Albatross on the left side. If you need to modify, just hold it static. With core strength, lift up, try with a straight leg. Inhale, exhale, cut across to the right. IT band to tricepnus. Inhale up and back. Bend your knees, stack your hip. Cheetah pose, pull through center, Mula Bandha. Step it through, warrior two. Spin open, warrior two. Inhale back, radiant triangle. Half bind, trikonasana, forward, float it. Find the crease in your left hip, deepen it. Lift your right arm up, breathe in. Breathe out. Rainbow warrior towards the front of the mat. Good. Inhale. Warrior two, exhale. Radiant, breathe in. Double floating triangle. Use your core strength. Hug your front ribs in. Spin left side over right side. Bend and soften your back knee. Cactus your arms. OMG to the front of your mat. Breathe out. Good. Chair, inhale. Fold, exhale. Just fold. Step your feet as wide apart as you need to grab your big toes and feel some release in Padangusthasana. Bend your knees. Pull your elbows back in towards your legs. Look forward. Broaden your chest. Squeeze your booty more. Tilt your pelvis more. Exhale. Round your spine in. Let your shoulders relax. Push down harder into your feet. Let your hips continue to tilt. Maybe find a little more length through the back of your legs. Keep the connection, belly to thiness. Belly first. Breathe into it. Burn it out. Exhale. Flat back, breathe in. Release your hands. Hop, step, handstand, however, back. Through chaturanga, or just meet me in your downward facing dog. Move with the knowledge of your own self. Roll forward, plank pose. Drop onto your forearms, one and then the other. Take your scapular push-ups here in your forearm plank. So, it's just that upper back push-up. Keep your hips and shoulders in one plane. Just let your chest dip down, then push it back up to the ceiling. All right, that's the thing that looks most obvious to me when I'm doing it myself, I can actually kind of in my periphery see my chest moving. Do 5 more. Yes, hold that fire in your belly. Any rubbish in your shoulders or any protest in your mind, burn it out. Drop down to your knees. Give yourself a break. You're going upside down now into pincha. I want you to not do a back bend version. I want you to keep it stacked up as much as possible, right? So if you have a bendy back, do your can opener shape and really point through your top toe to try to stack up more, okay? Now, if that's not happening because pincha is not yet in your practice, you can do your pincha push-ups, right? All right, you can play with where your gaze is, dip forward and push back. And if you need to hold it static, you can choose to look forward, look down, or look back. Target to where you feel the most engagement in your shoulders and the most lift in your chest. It's going to be different for everybody. Forearms. Walk your toes in. And find either an upside down play or find some shoulder engagement. It doesn't really matter. Give it another breath or two. And then come down, take a break, right? Come on down to child's pose. Join me for a cleansing breath. Y'all have definitely earned it. If you want to stay up and you're up, stay up. Everybody else, cleansing breath. Breathe in. Open your mouth, sigh. Good. Other side. If you found that you skew to one side and you want to practice only on that side, then this is your opportunity to apply the fire of your discipline and do your non-dominant side. Those of you who are attempting to catch your balance in your pincha, look way more forward when you hop. There. Child's pose, take a breather. Take a breather. Return to the flow of your breath. Your flowy breath initiates from intentional movement through your core. Be intentional with the movement of your abdomen, your deep abs, your transverse abdominis, your rectus abdominis, your obliques. Allow yourself the ability to move with the only control you have, which is mind over body in an intentional space. Good breathing. And downward facing dog. And shorten your stance and rise high onto your toes. Your toes are where Mula Bandha initiates. You've practiced your hands, all right, being nice and flat and firm. Spread your fingers wide. Rise high on your toes. Bend your knees until your abdomen and thighs touch. Keep your hips high. Look forward. Breathe in. Hop with your breath in, stack your hips over your shoulders. Look forward. There. We'll take 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. One more. Breathe in. Like that. Good. Hop it to Malasana at the top of your mat. So I want you to find the rock and roll in your spine. Activate your arms as part of your core. Lift your butt up, arms and core and booty all as part of core. Start to sit down until you can round back and rock and roll back and then come back into your squat. Yep, sit back, roll back, and then right back into your squat. Perfect. Do a couple of those. Use your breath, right? That Uddiyana breath that you practiced earlier is going to help you. One more. Make it explosive. Hop up. Hop your feet together. Chair. Breathe in, chair. Breathe out. Listen. Step your right foot behind your left foot. OMG. Bow down. Breathe in. Let your head go all of the way. Notice that your spine is curling. Let it curl. You're going to keep it curling. Put weight into your left foot. Slowly begin to rise to stand. Draw your right knee into your chest. Curl in and over your right leg. Extend forward over your right leg. Try to get belly to thighness as much as possible. You can bend your left leg as much as you need to. Utthita Hasta. Float it. Float it. Breathe in. OMG. Step it back. Come on up again. Same thing. Unfurl over your leg with as much belly to thighness as possible. Curl and round everything. Step it back. OMG. Just stay floating, so you have to use your core one more time. Bring it up. Float your right leg. Stretch your arms, unfurl. Breathe in. OMG. Step behind. Chair pose. Inhale. Step your left leg behind your right leg, bow down. Let your head go. Let your head all the way go. Good breath. Weight into your right foot, unfurl up one vertebra at a time. Maybe you don't get all of the way unfurled. Curl in more to your left leg. OMG, step behind you, bow down. Come on up. Stay floating. Use your core. Use your core to articulate your spine. The more you round your spine, the easier it is. Breathe in, step it back, breathe out. You have one more. Use your breath. Come back up. Yes. Go slow, just like you are. You're doing fantastic. Use your core to curl your spine. Curl your spine. OMG, step behind you. Chair pose. Inhale. Shift your weight into your right foot, kick your left heel up into your booty. Hinge your hips back, pull your hands to your heart. Pull your heart broader, so more of like a back bend in your upper back. Breathe in. Exhale, twist your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, kick your left heel back more. Twisted, awkward bird. All right, try to keep your hips square. Go for a deeper twist from your ribs. Chair pose. Inhale. Awkward twisted bird to the left. Kick your right heel into your booty. Hinge your hips back. Broaden your chest first. Exhale, twist your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Think about elbow to IT band, just like your albatross, twisted albatross. Chair pose. Inhale. Twist back to the right, same pose. Float your left heel up. Use light pressure back through your left heel to broaden your chest more. Broaden your chest. Chair pose. Inhale. Twist to the left. Same jam. Go slow. Use pressure back through your right heel to lengthen more through the top of your right chest. Breathe in. Chair pose. Step your feet together. Chair pose. Weight into your right foot. Kick your left heel into your booty. Dancer. Stand it up. All right. Dancer's pose. I'm going to give you many breaths here, so if you want to work on your flip grip, you're welcome to do so. Bend your right knee and keep it bent to find the squareness in your hips. Get longer through the tricep on your right arm. Make your right arm part of your core. Breathe in. Chair pose. Step your feet together. Inhale, chair. Exhale, weight into your left foot. Dancer's pose. Same idea, opposite side. Good. Make your left tricep part of your core. Breathe in to center. Square up. Keep breathing. Chair pose. Step your feet together, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Half lift, inhale. Hop back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog is your breath in. Downward facing is your exhale. Roll forward, plank pose, fill. Lower all the way down to your belly. Locust pose, squeeze your inner thighs and big toes together. fly. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Yes. Find the openness through your heart. Remember, your head and neck are part of your core, right? Tuck your chin to stack your roof of your mouth in line with your belly button. Breathe in. Lower down. Pop up onto your hands and your knees, tabletop position. I'll demo this for you. So balancing in tabletop and maybe even eventually finding a flip grip in your tabletop, you have all the requisite strength if you've done the flow up until this point. Tucked or untucked in your back foot, up to you, what feels right. This chest will want to dip down because your lifted leg hip will want to spin open this way, right? So you got to imagine like you're pushing down into something, like there's actually something to push into in order to stay balanced. You can take it like a regular dancer's pose grip. This is a fun place to play with your flip grip. So you catch the bridge of your foot, and you spin it open, and then you spin your elbow up, all right, to kick more open. These are the many options that I want you to play with. All right, get on your hands and your knees, and let's start on your right side. Extend your right leg back. Now you need to adjust your left hand. Where your left hand is going to matter as far as how supported you can be in your chest. Continually ask yourself, what is my right pinky toe doing? Is it spinning out to the side? Can I spin it straight down more? Can I spin it straight down more? Yes, right? At that point, you can start to go for your back bend shoulder opener, any version of it. Even if you fall out, just go right back into it. Very nice, everyone. Switch sides. Integrate through the connection between your right side and the ground. Right? We spent time building your roots at the very beginning of class. Now this is your opportunity to apply it and take your balance. Work on the balance piece first. Find that booty activation. Lift your chest up. Maybe even lift your gaze. You go where your gaze is. Take it down. Matt, do you mind demoing for me? Come up into a plank, and then you'll spin your fingers around to face back. So notice how his hands are fairly close together. He's going to bend his elbows back, and notice how close he is. He's going to put them inside of his hip bones. He's going to rock his weight forward until his legs float. There's no hopping. You just have to use your core strength and a slight slide forward. If your legs go apart, it's harder. The more you squeeze your legs together, they will go higher. Ready, set, get on your hands and your knees first. Set your fingers up either a little bit out or straight back, and then you'll bend your elbows back into your hip bones. You can feel them, right? You know where your hip bones are. You're going to put your elbows in the meat of your abdomen there, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's called peacock pose because peacocks of lore are said to be able to eat poisonous snakes, venomous serpents, and transmute the poison into nutrition. Do it again. You got it. Now, you can take off from a block. If you have a block, you can put a block behind you. You can step onto your block, and it's just like crow. It's all in your toes. Pull yourself forward. There's another piece to it. Listen up. In chaturanga, we work on your forearms being perfectly stacked up. In peacock, you're at a little bit of a diagonal. When you're crawling forward, you're letting yourself go. You're letting your arms go a little bit at a diagonal, and you're using your foot strength to get into it. So give it another go. Get your elbows in place before you get up on the block, if at all possible. Okay. All right, bring the back of your hands together. What are you... Hold on. All right, so you're here. You bend back. I'm uncomfortably squishing my boobs. All right. I'm literally in. Absolutely. Right? Yes. Right. It's uncomfortable. What have we been? We've been working on leverage. We've been working on all sorts of things. And I've been telling you that this is coming because it's uncomfortable. Right? You want to run away from it. Why do you want to run away from it? Guess what's right here? Manipura chakra. Guess what is also right here? Your core, your ego. You have to uncomfortably squish your boob. Try it again. Let's see where we're going from here. Sirsasana A. So now you have a chance to get upside down. There's a big rounding in your back in peacock. I don't know if you noticed. Big press like cat. Let's take that upside down now. Get your forearms down on the ground together. Interlace your fingers. And that part of your forearm and wrist that you pressed down at the beginning of class, push that down. Put the crown of your head down in between your hands and go on up. You can go one leg. You can go do two legs into a tuck. Just have some control with it. Use your core. When your legs are up, what part of your body needs to be engaged? Inner thighs, right? Are you squeezing them together? Squeeze them together more. Go halfway down, pike. Keep your Uddiyana Bandha super engaged. Hold it there. Good, keep breathing. Go back up. Well done. Child's pose slowly. Pull into a ball. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips up. Lift your right leg up and back. Bend your knees. Stack your hip. Breathe in. Half pigeon. Eka Padaraja Kapotasana. Stay at the top. Move your hands by your hips. Notice if there's a big gap between your left hip and your right heel. This is like mimicking your balancing where your hip wanted to spin up. Drop your hip until it touches your heel. If then you can have enough space in your hip to slide your shin bone forward, you can. Sink your hips even further into the ground. This is how you develop a closed knee. This is how you develop open hips safely in relation to your knee and your ankle. Point this toe. Come back to the idea of your cylindrical core. Breathe into the cylinder of your left leg, fill it up, keep it grounded down. And keep the fire in your belly. Come back to the idea of your breath moving with your intention and with the knowledge that you have intrinsically. Do you have to just let your breath flow as it will, or can you engage specific muscles in your abdomen and push your lungs into spaces where you need a deeper stretch? Everybody has different spaces, but life throws at us, every single one of us struggles. Your core is the space wherein the alchemy lies, where you can take those struggles into gold, a treasure of continued learning throughout your life. Slowly press up, downward facing dog. On the other side, set up for your half pigeon. Square up first. Then you know you're starting from a good position. Think of the cylinder of your right leg as extending all the way back through the tip of your right toe. If there's ends up being space between the front of your right hip and the ground, or the front of your right hip and your left heel, you can take that same hands on blocks around your hips, lengthening for reclining. Tuck your back toes, Catherine. Lift your knee up. Yeah. And then this will give you room to do that. Move your knee to the left more, Melissa. There. And point more aggressively. Slowly rise upright. Kick your right leg out in front of you. And take an easy cross-legged position with your left leg in front of your right leg. Easy is relative, so if you're fully comfortable in lotus, you're welcome to go there, half lotus, or swastikasana, or sukhasana, any of the poses. Fold forward over your legs. Use the strength of your breathing and Uddiyana Bandha to articulate more flexion. That's the rounding of your spine. One more inhale. Exhale, curl up with your air out. Switch out the cross of your legs and fold forward for another few rounds of breath. Stay 6 to 8 breaths. At the end of that, you have your choice to recline into Shavasana or stay upright for your meditation. I'm going to offer you a tool for your meditation today, which is to first spend time envisioning the things that you view as your strengths. Envision them in a stream, like a projector, projecting out of your belly button onto the wall in front of you, obviously with your eyes closed. Envision your strengths very vividly. Allow yourself to fully Use the tool of your mind's eye and imagination. And once you're done with that, allow yourself the opportunity to be real with where you would like to see improvement. And know, too, that any struggle with those things, any struggle with the areas where you want to see improvement, is a gift. Your learning will be more nuanced as a result of multiple approaches to going through your obstacles. And if you get lost, you can envision your breath moving through your core. Imagine your breath filling up your cylinder like a glass fills from the bottom to the middle to the top. For years, I was extremely poor. Even now, I live by modest means. So I know it's easy to say, well, I don't have this or that, and oh, how much better my life would be if I did. But what I learned over those years of leanness was more valuable than material wealth. The lesson was that scarcity is a lie that I was choosing to believe. My struggles were a real hidden treasure, but I had to take them in the gut, and I had to burn through the initial discomfort before they could be transformed into such. Whatever it is you struggle with, mental, emotional, or physical, there is an alchemy of change that can be worked on your circumstances. It takes fire, discipline, balance. It might even burn or be uncomfortable for a bit, but you too have within you this brand of magic. Take the good, take the bad, light it on fire, and illuminate your path inward. Return to the knowledge of yourself. Breathe life back into your body. Rise fully integrated and whole, and turn into the center of the room. Pull your hands into heart center. We'll close with one cleansing breath, then one round of Om. First, breathe in. Open up, like releasing steam. One round of Om. Fill up. You too have that magic, that alchemy, to transform your obstacles into treasures of lifetime learning. Connect to your spirit, yogis. Namaste.